this module, we're talking about the subject, how do we create customers for life? It's important that we, as we develop our business, that we really take care of our customers. We want to deliver on our promise. We want to fulfill our promise to them, and we want to retain these customers. This whole training program is really about growing and scaling your business, and you can't really grow and scale your business if you're constantly losing good customers. So you want to retain these customers and take good care of them. We had a situation a few years back with one of my clients that we've developed a case study around. And that case study is downloadable there in your module. And I want you to download that and read that case study. And then it ends with some questions. And realize this is built on a true story. I'll tell you maybe on our Facebook group or some other platform exactly how things turned out, but I want you to read it and I want you to answer or think about the questions at the end of it. It was a situation where my client didn't really know how to respond to a negative review. So read that case study, think about it, and let's talk about it maybe in the Facebook group. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Today I want to mention that your number one marketing priority really should be to market to your existing customers. We've built a whole module around marketing, but we don't talk much about marketing to our customers. We're always thinking about marketing to acquire new customers. But really, think about it. Your best customers are your competition's best prospects. And believe me, your competition is marketing to your customers, so you ought to be marketing to them in order to retain them and continue to communicate and reinforce the value you bring to them. So your number one marketing priority should be customer satisfaction, customer retention, and customer communication. I want to encourage you to think about how do we build long-term relationships with our customers. Remember that the revenue is in the relationships. And as you attempt to attract new customers, don't forget about your loyal, faithful customers who you serve and they help you day by day. So predictable revenue streams and profits come from long-term relationships. So we need to make marketing to our customers and customer satisfaction and customer retention a very high priority. You might consider going to some of your best customers, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of them, and just buy them lunch or a cup of coffee and say, let me ask you questions and just pick your brain. And if you're courageous, you'll do this because this is a little bit scary and I want to warn you about it right now. But I want you to go to a few of your best customers and just ask them, how are we doing? We love you as a customer. We love serving you. But how are we doing? And you might even ask them these 3 questions. Number 1, how are we doing? Number 2, what other needs do you have that we might find ways to serve and help you with? And then number 3, how can we improve our value to you? Now again, it takes some courage for you as a business owner to step out and ask your customers those questions because they're likely to give you answers, and their answers might make you feel a little uncomfortable. But that's the feedback we need to ensure that we're taking care of our customers. One of my clients several years ago, owner of an engineering company, he chose to do this. As we talked about this in our coaching, he decided he's going to go to his customers, and as an engineering firm, they actually work for architects, and so the architects are the ones who engage them on projects. And so he just started going to the architects in our area, those that he had relationships with that were customers, those who he wanted as customers. He got appointments with them, and he said he appreciated their giving him some time, and he says, I just want to ask you a question. And the question he asked those customers and those prospects was this: how is our industry falling short? Now, I thought that was a great question. It wasn't about how are we as a company falling short. It was about how are we as an industry falling short. And he said he was overwhelmed at the feedback he got. He said there was a lot of frustration with vendors and engineering firms in his industry. And he said everybody he talked to came back with three basic answers. And those three answers were the three things that he took back to his employees and his company, and they built their entire marketing system around those, his client communication and his customer satisfaction surveys. He built everything around those three issues. And it was powerful, and it continues to be powerful for their company today. Their company has grown substantially, and they continue to grow. People love doing business with them. They're building strong, long-term relationships with their architects. So communicate with your customers. Ask them for the feedback. Do it in a respectful and honest and an open way. Don't be defensive. Let them give you some feedback. Communicate with them often. Do it in person. Do it through notes, through email, through newsletters, through seminars, webinars, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever ways you can. Be communicating with your customers, and ask your team, how can we do more to promote customer loyalty and customer retention? Now, there's one last thing I want to share with you in this session, and that is get feedback from your customers through some kind of customer feedback mechanism, some process. And there's a simple process that I like and I want you to consider using. It's called the ultimate question. There are books written about this. You can look it up online and learn more about it. But the ultimate question is a concept that actually came out of Harvard Business School. It was written up in the Harvard Business Journal back in 2003. And what the researchers there at Harvard learned is that you can ask one basic question and probably get most of the feedback you need, or at least open the door to the feedback you need. And they called it the ultimate question. And how people responded to that question, they gave them a score, and that score was called the Net Promoter Score. So do some more research if you like. Ask us questions in our Facebook group about the ultimate question and the Net Promoter Score. Here is the ultimate question. The ultimate question is this: on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being high, how likely are you to refer us to your friends and colleagues? That's the question. And really, if you'll just ask that one question, you'll gain a lot of insight. What the researchers discovered was this: that if people give you a 9 or a 10, they're a promoter. They are happy to promote your business. If they give you a 7 or an 8, they're neutral. There's something that's holding them back from being a promoter. If they give you a 6 or less, they're a detractor. And if they talk to people about you, they're not going to give a positive message about you and your service. And so you want to ask every customer that ultimate question. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being high, how likely are you to recommend us to a friend or colleague who might inquire about our service? And so you get that score. That score is called the Net Promoter Score. And when you get 7s and 8s, you want to go to those people and say, and ask them these questions we've talked about today. Ask them the questions about how can we add more value to you and how can we serve you better. If you get a 6 or lower, there's an issue, and you need to find out what that issue is and resolve it. Because our goal is to build customers for life, to retain those customers, because the revenue, the growth, the scalability of our company is rooted in long-term relationships.